It's beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, I sit here defeated, wounded, and again, I'm looking for a bandana that has Oriental writing going all the way around, like what Michael Winslow wore, and I think in Police Academy too, so if anybody of you knows out there where I can find that particular style of bandana, hit me up in the comments below. Because MindsEye, yeah, my arch nemesis from Digital Foundry, Alex Battaglia, who actually did not like the previews of this game from Build a Rocket Boy. He was unimpressed, and I've got to give Alex some credit here because the man definitely knows his technical shit when it comes to video games.
And unfortunately, to me, this almost looked a bit like a fake game trailer. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, I would love to hear your all opinion about this afterward, but like when they initially start the trailer off with that slide into cover behind a car, I was reminded of like the trailer for, I think it's called 8 Days.
But this is the same Alex Battaglia who said that Stellar Blade looks very outdated and was emphasizing parts of the main protagonist's body far too much. He even thought that Forspoken was a better experience than Stellar Blade, but of course Richie Ledbetter disagreed with his comments.
The one thing, I know you were talking about the character from a bygone era. I do think the character model was actually like very distracting in not a good way, because like with the camera angles chosen, it just felt like this game seems like a game that came out in like 002 in terms of its, you know, like character design. It's like a bit old and not flattering, I don't think, for a modern audience. In comparison to something like Forspoken, which has, you know, I mean, yes, it has a much more realistic looking character designs. It's not these hyper proportioned something or another's, but it also seemed, I don't know, a bit more grounded in a way that I found much more appealing.
Oh dear. Okay, well look, Alex, you were talking about Forspoken. Again, it was a game that was shown quite early on in the showcase. I don't really quite know what to make of it.
Unfortunately, Alec, you had to take one for the team there. But I thought, is he going to repeat that formula again here in MindsEye? Could it all be wrong? Could it all turn against him and make him look like a fool again and every other disparager out there? Well, it looks like, folks, that that's not the case. It's MindsEye. It's a terrible game. I've not yet bought it. I also heard somewhere that PlayStation 4 were doing mass refunds because the game isn't delivering on its promises. And if I find an article, I'll actually bring it up here as well. But I want to go over the Metacritic reviews, because finally they came out, folks. They're creeping in, as I will cover briefly in this article by Insider Gaming.
Funniest, cheekiest, maddest, filmiest show on earth. A show ka title hai?
Yes, hallelujah, it's the video show. And now, the man the BBC calls
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Whoa, look at that. PlayStation, and this is from MSN.com, is issuing refunds to MindsEye players. This is 3 days ago. So what are the bullet points here? MindsEye players are getting refunds from PlayStation Store as fans complain of poor optimization and bugs. PlayStation's policy prevents refunds from being issued once the game is downloaded, but it appears to be making an exception for MindsEye. This is the same thing that Cyberpunk 2077 also had on its initial release, folks. Oh, and I've just seen it here, actually. So that's a particular... See, I always kind of go ahead of the bullet points sometimes. Some MindsEye players are receiving refunds from the PS Store, despite the fact that it goes against the company's usual policy. So when I first heard about this, I thought, oh my God, this is like a mass exodus. People are refunding en masse. But no, it just seems that now I think Sony have to realize that if a game is optimizing poorly and everybody else is saying it, then they have to look into it. They have to be fair. So that's really good. And I hate that practice of once you've downloaded it and you play and you don't like it, you can't get a refund. It's so utterly egregious. At least with Steam, if you play the game for less than 2 hours or at the 2-hour mark and you don't like it, in most cases you can actually get it back. But you've got a certain timeline to react, and if you take too long, they just won't refund you. But from Insider Gaming, from Grant Taylor Hill, and this was published yesterday, MindsEye becomes 2025's worst rated game as reviews creep in. And there's our guy from Mafia 3 who they've reused for this game, funny enough. So MindsEye has been suffering immeasurably since being released on June the 10th. Third-person GTA competitor is the debut of Build a Rocket Boy, a studio, a new one. Well, how new is it actually? If you look at the tax returns filed on the HMRC website by Rockstar legend Leslie Benzies. Now listen, I wanted to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, but it seems, to be honest, I don't know what kind of jiggery pokery magic mind card trick he's going to be doing behind the scenes, right?
We'll record the videos, we'll take little chunks out, and then that'll get put into the Jira database, and that'll get sent out to devs to fix.
The game has plummeted in the rankings due to its wildly buggy and inherently flawed gameplay. Now that the game has managed to receive some reviews from popular outlets, because Build a Rocket Boy refused to send out early review copies to people. I know folks like Jake Baldino, who, by the way, I don't think has ever gamed in his life. He talks about games, but he can't game the game. And Mr. Matty Plays all had early access, maybe not a review copy, but they didn't like what they saw. They were wildly unimpressed. But the Metascore, you can see here in his article, it's 43 out of 100, making it the worst rated game to emerge in more than a year. I mean, ouch. Wow, holy shit, 2.6. That is not good. That is Build a Rocket Boy. You might want to build another Rocket Boy and send yourselves to the planet they call Uranus. MindsEye from The Guardian is an oddity. For all its failings, I really disliked playing it, and yet it's also ... IGN, which I'm going to look at in a minute, by the way, because it's my favorite reviewer from that particular publication or platform. Game Reactor, if there's one thing I never thought I'd write about Leslie Benzies' first self-directed, and let's see what they say here. It was perceived as unimaginative and generic. At least I thought that originality and attitude would be present here, even if it looked unfinished beforehand. That didn't happen, and it's easy to see that MindsEye was not only released about 6 months too early, but it also resembles a 10-year-old GTA copy, with most of its elements being undercooked, which is sad. I mean, no, actually, there are some sections of this game that I've seen that reminds me of Red Faction Guerrilla, right? Oh, I love that game. And they call that a GTA clone, but set on Mars. It's a game of its time, and it's fun, and graphically it's beautiful. It even got remastered or remastered because it's set on Mars, right? You remember that?
Alec, that faction could really use a guy like you.
To do what? What are people doing out here?
Whatever it takes.
MindsEye did a good job of making people curious about the story. I finished the game, and what else do you say here? As for the technical side, the game crashed only once, and there were performance issues in between, and my processor overheated a little more than normal. That's a bit weird, man. I mean, you can't blame that has a game ever affected the processor of your PC? Maybe you don't have proper air conditioning, dude. That's all I can say on that one. But look, let's just now I actually wanted to buy this game on Steam, but as you can see when I bring it up, it is still $54.99, which I'm not going to pay for. That's just utterly ridiculous. I can't do that, sorry. But on CD keys, when I find this very interesting, they've ran out of CD codes already. Get notified when the product is back in stock. Enter your email now. So at the time of me recording this, you can see it is out of stock. They've run out of game codes. The current price that you can see in the corner is, call it £44. That's £10 less than what they recommend on Steam. But I'll tell you what, I'll wait till this game gets to about £30 or below. Then I'll pick it up. I honestly think the price is going to drop still. Steam have to pay attention to this, right? But I want to look at this review from Luke Riley. He's my favorite reviewer on IGN. He's good because he normally reviews arcade racing games and simulators like the Forza series. But I thought maybe he was the only guy that would probably be pulled in to do this review. Now, 15 minutes long. I'm just going to run through this review quickly, but I want to see if he talks about the car elements in this. This is probably why he got called in.
MindsEye may look like an exciting GTA-adjacent action-adventure in short clips and GIFs, but actually playing it through to the end of its story has revealed an unfinished, overly ambitious project that's plagued with performance problems, makes precious little use of its open world.
So yeah, that's the part here that reminded me. Hang on. Yeah, this part here did remind me of Red Faction Guerrilla, right, on Mars. This section here, even though it's not set on Mars, but that's why I got that flashback.
Makes precious little use of its open world and is crippled by unconvincing combat and dull mission design.
That is so sad.
While it's natural to draw comparisons with GTA, in basic terms, MindsEye is more akin to the Mafia series. That is, it's a tightly linear, single-player story where the open world largely exists as a backdrop for you to drive from mission to mission. That doesn't end up serving it very well. Mafia is great, MindsEye is not.
And the thing with Luke Riley, he's from Australia, if you didn't pick up on the accent. He likes to be fair to things. Like, you can almost hear that he's disappointed that he thought that this might be a better game. He might not have been aware of the controversies this game has faced since it was initially previewed in April, right? So...
You are Jacob Diaz, a former soldier and drone operator who's been railroaded out of the military after a botched mission, albeit with an extremely rare piece of tech still embedded in his neck.
It's been decommissioned.
He's a pretty thinly drawn amnesiac hero overall, with no especially memorable characteristics beyond his ability to follow instructions. After securing a security job at mega company Silver Corp in the Las Vegas-inspired city of Red Rock, Diaz is quickly embroiled in an AI gone bad, robots gone wild adventure that starts slow, gets a little more intriguing a few hours in, and then ends like someone's yanked the plug out of the wall.
And the funny thing is, a lot of reviews and comments I've seen online have stated that a lot of the scenes in the first hour of the game are cut scenes. You don't get much in terms of you being the player and controller of the game, which I think is just so bad.
Credit where it's due, MindsEye does have style, and its near-future setting is accomplished and credible. It fuses locations like normal homes and strip malls that wouldn't look out of place in the present day with the proliferation of high-tech robotics and drones. The result is a world that appears appropriately futuristic but doesn't feel alien or unrecognizable. From an aesthetic perspective, it really does appear a few years from now in a well-executed way.
So you see what I mean? He's trying to be fair to the game, but I get it.
It also includes a genuinely impressive fleet of vehicles, and there's a practicality to them that makes them look like real cars from, say, 5 to 10 years in the future.
That's why they brought him in to review this, because he's your car man at IGN.
Basically takes
That
modern
looks like a Raptor from Ford.
trends like today's massive, chunkily accented pickup trucks, teardrop-shaped electric sedans, and battery-powered retro mods, and successfully projects a decade of tweaks onto them.
Navigate to factory.
And it's consistently undermined by vanilla combat, janky AI enemies, and its sloppy frame rate and bugs.
Get your ticket out of there.
Throw in its insultingly unfinished free roaming component, and it's clear it was simply not ready to be released. If you had your sights set on MindsEye, think again.
I mean, again, what was the title of this video? MindsEye review, and I believe on their actual website they do say, wait for it, this is never mind. Oh well. Look, I'm still gonna play the game, guys, but like I said, I'm not gonna justify forking out £55 to play a... I mean, look, it's probably going to be a lot of funny stuff that I can use for a video, and I probably will in due course. I want to try and do it this week if I possibly can, but again, I want to pay a bit of a lesser price than what this game is asking for, because like I've said before, the minute I do actually pay for this game, you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to come down in price the next day by a click of a finger, and it's like, oh well, I should have just waited. But on that one, folks, if you ended up enjoying this video today for MindsEye, mindful, never mind from Nirvana, then leave a like below, smash that subscribe button, and I will catching me for the return of the next video.